Welcome to Holistic Health Heroes, here to help you become your own health advocate and introduce you to some heroes in the holistic health arena. Let's get started. Today, I am welcoming Onelly Hernandez, who is a nutritional therapy practitioner, autoimmune protocol coach, and founder of AIP Conmigo. As a Hashimoto's warrior herself, Onelly helps women with thyroid disorders and autoimmune conditions lose weight, boost energy, and ditch chronic fatigue without the crash diets or the cookie cutter programs. So welcome, Onelly.
Thank you for having me, Kiri.
I'm so excited to have this conversation because, like I was telling you before we started, I've been hearing from many people about thyroid issues, some people with Hashimoto's diagnoses recently. And so I would love to start out with just hearing a little bit about you and your journey with this affliction with Hashimoto's. Could you tell us, what your personal story is?
Yes. Well, it started in 2020, right when the pandemic hit. People started paying more attention to themselves, to their bodies, what's going on. And I was like, okay, I'm sick and tired of being tired all the time. Eating right, um, working out twice a day, because I was in that time doing the 75 hard challenge. I don't know if you heard of that.
I have.
Um, and I was doing that in running challenges with my clients, and I didn't lose a single pound. And I'm like, okay, this is weird because this is not supposed to happen. Then I started looking into it, signs and symptoms of Hashimoto's, because my husband already has Hashimoto. So I knew some of the symptoms that he had, and I was experiencing kind of the same. So I'm like, okay, so it sounds like I might have Hashimoto. So I went to my doctor, send them all these symptoms, and she's like, okay, hold on, it might be something else. It might be part of you're a mom, with the pandemic, the kids being at home, you're tired, blah, 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 stress. And I'm like, no, I know my body. I know what's wrong with me. And I have to push for my doctor to do um, the thyroid antibodies test because they don't do a full thyroid panel. They only do TSH. And that was within normal ranges. And I'm like, yeah, I know I'm not crazy. I know there's something more to this. So please do the full thyroid panel. But they didn't do it because insurance and stuff. So once they tested my thyroid antibodies, they said, yeah, you were right. You have Hashimoto's. And I'm like, see, I know myself. I know my body. I'm not crazy. It's not just being part of being a mom that I'm being tired all the time, no energy, snapping at my kids, my husband, going nuts, my hair, losing my hair, cold and then hot, all of that stuff. Um, and then once I knew that I got my diagnosis right, then I started eating right. I look into the AIP, the autoimmune protocol. Um, I look into it really good with a functional doctor that I hire at the time, and he helped me manage all of that. I was diagnosed with SIBO because I ran a test with him because normal doctors don't test for SIBO.
Right.
And once I got diagnosed with that, I started with the AIP because it's a gut healing protocol. It helps you lower inflammation and stop the attack on the immune system that your thyroid is doing. And yeah, that was pretty much for
Yeah.
like 4 months that I ran that. My symptoms started getting better. I was much, much better. And it's crazy how these doctors, they just, oh, you're just tired, it might be low vitamin D. And I'm like, no, because I'm going out for a walk at noontime when the sun is the most, and I got a tan line and everything. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
How is
Getting
this?
enough vitamin D.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, you kind of talked about this already, but just to really hit it home for the listeners, the feelings and the experiences you were having in your body and your emotional experience, like what were some of those symptoms that were starting to say, hey, there's something going on here?
Yeah, you start like waking up really tired, no motivation. Like it doesn't matter if you slept 8 hours or 9 or 10, you're still tired. Um, you just don't want to get out of bed. You just want to stay asleep all day. But I had to because the kids have to log in into their at that time log in into their online classes. Um, the feeling cold all the time when that was not normal. The inability to lose weight when normally if I put myself to eat healthy and exercise, I know I will lose the weight quickly. Um, and that was like okay. And then the mood swings, the hair loss, those were the signs that it was like okay, something is really going on here.
Right, right. And then, so maybe we should define it for everybody because I know of Hashimoto's as an autoimmune disease, but Hashimoto's thyroiditis is the real name, right? So
Yes.
can you give us a more in-depth definition of what this really is?
Yeah, so Hashimoto's is an autoimmune condition where it's attacking your immune system, um, especially here your thyroid. And then this is the most common sign of hypothyroidism. So they go hand in hand. And especially mostly women, men can get it because my husband has it, but it's more common in women. And it's not just a thyroid issue, it's an autoimmune issue that your immune system is attacking your thyroid. Um, and it can cause you like, no energy, and stuff like that. So that's mostly what Hashimoto's is.
Yeah, and it's kind of great for your clients, I would imagine, that you have experience working with your husband, a man who has had this, and yourself now who's had this. And
Yes.
and I was also thinking as you were talking about the, requests for tests that you knew about, I would guess, and you correct me if I'm wrong, that you knew enough to ask for more, testing and because you did the nutrition studies. Is that right?
Yes, yes. I already had my health coach certificate when I got diagnosed. Um, I was a primal health coach, and with that, I knew something else was wrong, and I knew that doctors don't, because of the insurance stuff. That's
Right.
mostly what it is, because most insurance don't cover all of these tests, and then most of the time you have to pay it out of pocket or find somewhere else so you can do it. In today's economy or economy anywhere, it's tough, So for you to or for patients to pay for all of this out of pocket because it's not cheap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But then
Yeah.
once you sort of hone in on what's actually going on, that's the only way you can really try to get it under control, I would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because once you start, okay, now I know I'm diagnosed. Now I know, okay, I started digging into research and all of that, and that's when I found out the autoimmune protocol, and then I said, okay, now that I did it, let me just get certified because I like I'm a health coach already. Let's go certify as an AIP coach,
Yeah.
and I went through that certification and I learned even more in depth while I did it before getting certified, and it's amazing um, how this protocol can help you not heal completely, but lower that inflammation, lower that immune attack to the thyroid, um, lower your symptoms. You feel so much better after doing it. I know it takes some time. It's
Yeah.
not easy. And
Right.
then back then when I did it, it was like the whole hardcore AIP that you eliminated a lot of things. Now with the new AIP, um, you can eat a little more stuff than what I ate when I did it at the beginning,
Right.
back in 2020, because they changed. They did some research with us AIP coaches treating other clients, and they started adding like now you can eat rice, you can eat some beans.
Okay.
So the elimination phase of the AIP is not that um
Restricted.
so
Yeah.
restrictive. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you for because I was
Yeah.
like finding the words.
That's okay. Yeah. So, and I love this that, the whole idea of our nutrition studies, because we both did the NTP program, right? Is
Yes.
that getting to the root cause, is that functional
Yes.
medicine lens. So, like when we think about through the functional medicine, you know, lens, I guess, therefore,
Yeah.
what are the root causes? Do we know what the root causes of Hashimoto's are?
Yes, it's different for everybody. Some people it might be triggered by some really hard emotion or something like that, like traumatized by something. Like some people said that their parent passed away, and then they that trigger that their Hashimoto. Some others, it can be environmental things, that mold toxicity, um, other things. It can be that it's in your genes, it runs in the family, that people have other autoimmune diseases, and then you might get some. Um, and mostly that's it. But it's you gotta everybody's different.
Yeah,
Everybody knows, like, okay, maybe it runs in the family, the diet, the in everything.
yeah.
Um, so
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a number of potential root causes. It's just a matter of figuring out what was it for the individual. And like you mentioned, someone, they have someone who died in the family. There's
like the
these events.
trauma.
Yeah. These events that we experience in life, whether it's the capital T trauma or little t trauma, whether
Yes.
it could be marriage too, like someone just gets
Yeah.
married. It could be a good thing, a brand new promotion, but now you're doing different things and, or just like a number of things that might be the tipping point, I would say.
Yes. And to me, I think it was a combination of the trauma of the pandemic, right? Because we were hit of the pandemic. I was stuck at home with the three kids, husband go to work,
Right.
um, trying to figure out everything, because I was launching my health coach business. I was brand new coach by then. Um, and it was that, and then the environmental stuff. We had some mold in my house. It was an old house, of course, so all these little things, so maybe products and stuff that I use, because the toxics of some products that we use in the daily life, that
Yeah.
we think it's good, but turn out they're hurting us. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. Oh, wow. So I'm glad that you brought up that mold because I think mold is getting its like moment in the spotlight now, like people
Yes.
getting mold exposure and stuff. What was your experience like with that? And how did you end up putting two and two together that, hey, this is because of mold?
Yeah, with the symptoms again, it was like the symptoms, the waking up with the stuffy nose, being so tired, and I'm like, okay, this is not right. And my husband had to like tear down the whole room because it was down in the basement. We had like an extra bedroom there, and he had to like tear it down completely and take all of that because the insulation, and then that was getting the mold from that room because we had like central AC, and then that was going through the whole house, and we were breathing all of that until
Yeah.
he found it. And I'm like, okay. And then he started fixing it because I'm like, my son was sleeping down there, and he was like waking up with a stuffy nose, and I'm like, okay, this might be mold, because I consulted with another health coach friend of mine that she's expert on that field.
Yeah.
And and then she told me, like, if you're experiencing all these symptoms, it might be mold. Check the house. My husband did all of the research, and then when he took all that insulation, and I
Wow.
saw that black mold there, and like, are you kidding me? We were like killing ourselves just with
Wow.
the turning the AC on.
Terrible. And I think that this is more common than people realize and they take it for granted. And it's a really serious thing to get under control. So I'm glad you did.
Yes, yeah, yeah. It's tough to find it because some people think like, no, no, it's normal or whatever. Like, I'm just tired. I'm too overworked. I'm stressed. It might not. It might be something else,
Yeah.
but no.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So much to say there and unpack. Like another thing that you mentioned there that's very interesting to me because I'm very much, how do I describe it? I guess anti-chemical. I don't know how else to say it. But what
Yes.
what were the discoveries that you had as far as like everyday toxins that you had to change?
Yeah, like my makeup. I have to start changing, looking into that, not getting the these makeups that you get at Sephora, because I used to go to Sephora, and get all these brand stuff. And then I started reading the labels and looking into all of that. And I'm like, okay, this might not be so good. Then I swap to Beauty Counter. So those are like more clean makeup now. That company's like in in the low. Now I'm doing Ila, I think it is Ila, the
Oh, okay.
makeup.
I love crunchy makeup, by the way. Give them a plug. And Toups and Co.
Okay.
Those are some favorites.
Okay, I'm gonna look into those because yeah, I'm using that Ela makeup and it's been good. Been doing it for like 2 years now. Your deodorant, the laundry detergent that you're using, fabric softener, the sprays that you sprayed in your house and all of that. Like now it's just like essential oils and that's the room spray or bathroom spray. Um, Little things like that, like your hair products, things you use, um, those things I had to start to change. Even the things that you cook with, like I started using cast iron. I was always struggle with anemia when I was little, and after I had my kids too, and then because they suck everything out of you, they suck all your vitamins and minerals, the kids. So I was always anemic, and then once I started cooking my steaks and chicken and stuff in the cast iron, like my no more anemia, and I'm like, wow, it was as simple as just cooking in a cast iron.
Yeah, isn't that great? I mean, I think it's
Yeah.
great. I don't know, people out there that have never heard
Yes.
about it are just probably overwhelmed with, oh my God. But I'm imagining you did all those things incrementally.
Yes. Oh yeah, because it's expensive. You cannot go and change everything in your house all at once because you're gonna be broke. So you just gotta start doing, okay, I'm just this time I'm gonna invest in my skincare and my makeup. And then next thing is just gonna be the deodorant and then the shampoo, conditioner, things like that, like slowly, slowly. And even changing all the cooking stuff, that was another slowly but steady because it's expensive.
Yeah, slow and steady wins the race, I like to say.
Yes, yes, it
Um,
does.
Now, at this point, I'm imagining you've worked with a lot of different clients that have had Hashimoto's. And I'm sure you advise them a lot on diet. But if someone you just first meet comes up to you and they're like, okay, well, what role does diet play in Hashimoto's? How do you start
It's like 80%. 80% it's diet,
this?
then stress management and sleep. It's the other percent, and then some exercise you gotta add in there too, because you need to exercise too. But mostly is diet, because you gotta stop that immune attack, and that how we do that with the autoimmune protocol. And
Right.
that's how I stop that attack to my immune system and the thyroid. Um, of course, not all the symptoms are gonna go away because then stress comes in. I just recently moved, stress can raise your blood sugar in just by doing nothing, just by stressing out. That's it. And I proved that, and I gained a few pounds, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. But now I'm getting back into the swing of things now that it's been a few months now, 6 months that
Yeah.
we move into this new house. But it's just stressful selling and buying a new house, all of that. It was a lot. I got a little traumatized by it, and that was the first time I was selling and buying at the same
Yeah.
time. It's crazy,
Yes.
crazy.
Oh boy, do I feel that, right?
Yes.
So well, I'm glad that you mentioned that though, because I think that's so important, Onelli, like to tell people that, you know, this is a cycle that we're on, right? Like you don't just get the answers, fix everything, and boom, you're done. Like sometimes
Yes.
life throws you curveballs and then you have a setback. So
Yeah.
would you know that are you counseling your clients on this whole idea of like not being perfect and what's the role that that plays as far as noticing a cycle?
Yes, you start seeing like, okay, getting a little overwhelmed. I'm neglecting little things, or like, hey, I'll do it tomorrow. I didn't work out today. I'll work out tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, that's okay. But make sure that that's the first thing you're gonna do next day, because otherwise it's gonna be back in the next day, and next day, or it's all next Monday, next Monday, next Monday. It's been 2, 3 years and you're still in the same spot with the worst symptoms now, because as you keep neglecting, things gets worse, you know. It can be like now you're pre-diabetic, or now you're all these other things that can come out of not taking care of your health. Um, so it's a slow and steady pace, in just focus on one thing at a time,
Mm-hmm.
in one thing only. If that's the only thing you have energy to do today, just wake up and drink some water and just focus on drinking enough water for the day. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to do. Yeah, I love the phrase. Like when I did, I think I got this from the NTP program of meet people where they're at.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
it can't. I'm not going to tell someone to go ferment cabbage when that's maybe what I do, but they're just starting out. That's gonna overwhelm them. They're gonna lose interest. So they've got to
Yes.
start with the steps that work for them.
Yeah, and they might not have the time to ferment the cabbage. You know, they might have 3, 4 kids they need to take care of, you know. So
That's
it's
right.
it's yeah, I love that, and that's what I do. I meet them where they are.
That's great. Can you speak a little bit more about the diet, because I think there's so much like confusion about food, and I always say like that's purposefully done, you guys. Like everyone who's listening, like that confusion on what to eat is a marketing ploy so that you
Yes.
eat the marketed products, the food like products. So I saw some great videos on your Instagram about educating people on maybe some mistakes that they're making in eating so-called healthy things. So maybe we start there, just bust some myths on what people think is healthy that's actually hurting their thyroid or Hashimoto's.
Yeah, some things that it might, you know, not get their with their thyroid. It can be like people think, oh, I shouldn't be eating broccoli because the goitrogens are, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah. The cruciferous vegetables are,
Yes, the
yeah,
cruciferous vegetables are the bad ones, especially broccoli or whatever. You cannot eat it raw, and all of these things. And I'm like, no, you can eat it. You just gotta know that you're not gonna eat a lot or enough or whatever, but it's not gonna kill you. So,
yeah,
yeah, those are things. Another thing is like food that are pre-packaged, like, oh, this is just because it says is gluten free doesn't mean it might be 100% gluten free, because people lie on the like,
right,
hello, Cheerio said it's good, it's lower your cholesterol. That's a lie.
right, lies.
Yes, so read the labels, read the ingredients. Don't get fooled by just saying, oh, it's AIP approved or it's keto approved or whatever it is, the label that they're saying. Um, because that's what food companies do. They just lie because they want your money.
That's right.
But if you focus on just eating natural foods, like go to your local um that is like farm or whatever, you know, the little things that they do locally.
Farmers.
um yes, the farmers market that they sell the raw honey, local raw honey, all of these things, fruits and vegetables that are like, you know, grown there by these local farmers. So those are the things that we need to focus more than getting all these prepackaged things just because it says it's AIP approved or whatever
Right.
it is.
Yeah.
Um, and you might be eating some sneaky ingredients that might not be good for you.
Yeah. Another big offender, I think, and you correct me if I'm wrong, is kale, right? People think kale is so good, but is kale not so great for your thyroid?
No, not necessarily. I don't eat it much because I'm not a big fan. But when I eat it, it's fine, and it depends. Everybody's different. That's why we do. I recommend do the autoimmune protocol, because what my body adapts or like tolerates is different than what your body will
Right.
tolerate. You know, everybody's different, so it's not that it's like the horrible thing, like, oh, I shouldn't be eating broccoli or kale or whatever. Just test it in your body, see how you feel. If it makes you feel bad, then don't eat it,
There you go.
and try again. You know, um, and that's how it works. Because what works for one, like my husband, what works for him with Hashimoto doesn't work for me, because we are
Yeah.
totally, one he's male, I'm female, or you know, it's totally different hormones. So It's
Yeah,
just test and see how your body reacts. That's what I always tell my clients.
that's
Test
good.
it, reintroduce it again for like 3 more months and eat it again and see what happens, and then if it's like, okay, if you feel terrible every time you eat kale, then don't eat it.
Right, right. Yeah, don't take the advice of it being like, oh, it's so-called good or it's so-called bad. I mean, it's that
Yes.
bio-individual thing of test it out and see how it works for you or it doesn't work for you. That's a good point. And I think you kind of alluded to this when you were talking about your experience with the clients with food. And it seems, especially those that are ill and they have some kind of problem, like Hashimoto's, like an autoimmune problem, whatever it might be, then they get this food anxiety, right? And like maybe like the overthinking of, oh my God, I can't have this or I can't have that. So how important is regulating stress to Hashimoto's?
It is really important. It's like another, like I said, 80% is the nutrition, the food, and then I think another 10% can be the stress, and then another um 5% the sleep, and then 5% the exercise. But stress is huge because the more stress you have in your body, it's the worst for the Hashimoto's because everything is go down spiral after that. So that's why I watch out because I get to get in my in my head a lot of the time, and then stress it's my enemy. But I try to do some stuff like journaling, going for walks. And now that the weather it's good because once it's cold, forget it. I'm not going out there and freezing my bum. But yes, stress is huge, huge, huge.
And I think it's important to like distinguish what is stress, because sometimes you hear the word stress and you think like work stress or traffic or these things, but there's other types of stress like emotional stress, worry, overthinking, anxiety. Like these are all forms of stress.
Yes.
So you mentioned a few already of how you cope with it. You take walks, you do journaling. Are there any tips that you're giving your clients on ways to cope with stress?
Yes. Sometimes I'm like, okay, you haven't gone out for a while. Go with your friend, your sister, whatever. Go out, get your nails done or get your hair done. Get a nice, head massage when they're shampooing your hair and it feels so good and you're relaxed. I like to go to the hairdresser. She puts a little like weighted mask, and then
Yeah.
she puts like the little um vapor or something, like it's some vapor or something, like she puts like a machine that makes that. She puts some essential oils in that, and then you're just relaxing while
Mm.
your conditioner is taking in, you know, and then you're just there. And some and I fell asleep and I'm like, wow, this is so good. Just
Yeah.
doing that can
Yeah.
just, reduce your stress, and you get out of the hairdresser, you feel fabulous, amazing. Look, your hair looks great. You look
Yeah.
good. And that little things like, are good. Like if you can get a little massage or something like that, or get a
Yeah.
pedicure, mani pedicure, um, those things can help you deal with stress a little bit, you know.
Yeah, I think one of the things I've learned recently about stress, the nervous system, this kind of thing is you can be, let's say, at rest on the couch and you can still be stressed out. It's only until like, let's say I'm resting on the couch, I think I'm getting rest and I'm still just tapped out. I finally go get the appointment made. I go get a massage or a foot massage or something like this. And then I'm like, whoa, this is a whole new level of relaxation.
Yes. Yeah, because
That's
you
what,
can be just sitting on the couch scrolling TikTok and you're still having anxiety attacks.
yeah. And you don't
Yeah.
really know it. You're like, but I'm just sitting here. I'm just resting
Yeah.
on the couch.
Yeah, that happens to me too because I've been struggling a little bit with anxiety, and I'm like, I'm just here, and then my Apple Watch is saying my heart rate is elevated, and I'm like, are you kidding me? What's wrong? I'm just sitting here scrolling on TikTok, and my Apple Watch is like, your heart rate it's 130, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's so
It's
true. And
just yeah,
yeah, that's
like
something
unconscious anxiety. That's what it is.
I like that phrase,
Yep.
unconscious anxiety. And this is what we're sort of battling these days when we think like, well, stress is just a part of the life and you just can't do anything about it. It's like, no, actually, there are things you can do about it, and they don't have to cost a lot of money. You just have to find
Yes.
out what they are for you and really, really go ahead and do them.
Yes.
Now, I think you mentioned, like, especially in talking about your husband and you and the different hormones and things, I was kind of curious to know more about the Hashimoto's connection to hormone imbalances. It seems like those things go together, especially when we talk about weight gain, weight you can't lose, this and that. So,
Yes.
could you illuminate that a little bit for me?
Yeah, they go hand in hand because, like, again, your thyroid is a hormone, right? It's a thing. It's a gland, but it's functions with hormones because that's what we get. We get prescribed Synthroid or levothyroxide or other medications that they use for thyroid in hormone replacement, right? You're taking that for your Hashimoto's or hypothyroidism. So they go in hand in hand. You're that's where you start feeling like, okay, I'm gaining weight, my hair is falling out, my nails are brittle, I'm cold, and then or I'm hot, or I'm struggling to lose the weight. These are the hormonal um changes that you're going through. Then it can be mistaken that you have maybe perimenopause or menopause because the symptoms are pretty similar from Hashimoto's. And I'm like, oh my God. So it's totally, a combination because as a whole, we are not just one thing. We are many things together. Like, so that's why the approach that we do, it's holistic. But yeah, I don't know. I went rambling there. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to say. It's like, where do you begin and where do you end? Like, I was listening to a podcast over the weekend about this, and she pointed out, this was her name, Wentz. You probably know her. She's the Hashimoto's pharmacist.
Isabella once.
Yes. So I was listening to her podcast and she had an episode about the adrenals and how
Yes.
interconnected the adrenals are. And I know that a few years ago when I was super stressed and I went and had a Dutch test done, I was like trying to find out what were going on with like my sex hormones, and my functional medicine practitioner at the time told me, it's not that, it's your adrenals. So I want to do everything I knew to support the adrenals. So there's this whole combination between
Yes.
the thyroid, the adrenals, the sex hormones. They're all
Yes.
working together, right?
Blood sugar imbalance, um the other things that are together, your gut health, because that's what when I got with the SIBO thing. So
Yeah.
gut health, or it can be candida too. So it's all connected. Everything is connected. One thing can be going off, but then it's other little things that are gonna be like, hey, all these lights. It's like your car when it's starting like check engine, and then it's like, oh, now my tire it's low on air, or this other thing, this other thing, this other thing. That's what your body's doing. If you look at it.
Yeah. And that's why your gut is so pivotal, because whether or not you're absorbing the nutrients, or to what extent that you are, what we're putting in the tank, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
the inputs, the food you're putting in, that's all going to affect all of these other things. That's why it's so critical. And we always start with diet.
Yes, yeah. And then the autoimmune protocol is a gut healing protocol too. So, say focuses a lot on that, on healing the gut. Because most people, almost everybody, the research that Dr. Sarah Ballantyne did for the autoimmune protocol, she said that almost everybody who is diagnosed with an autoimmune condition has leaky gut. It's
Yep.
really rare, like finding somebody. So that's why that protocol is so gut healing. It's so good.
Got to
Um,
seal and heal the gut. You can always start there. That's like my big thing too. And then I think people get hung up on testing. I guess, I don't know, that's maybe my personal opinion coming out, but what's your feeling on testing for this? I mean, do you feel like you have to critically have all the tests, and, what tests do you recommend? Or are you more of the, hey, let's get started with diet because we know that's going to be the prescription no matter what?
yeah, get started with diet first, and then if it's in their budget, because not everybody has the money for all these tests, because they can be really expensive, they can run some, GI food map, The Dutch Complete, I did that. For the SIBO testing, I did another one. The SIBO test, it's like almost $500 that I pay for that. It's a lot of money back in 2020.
Mhm.
Um, then the full thyroid panel, if because your doctor's not gonna go for the whole thing. Um, they only test for TSH and T4 in order to give you the actual doses of the medication that they need to give you. But then getting a full thyroid panel, you can get it somewhere else. Uh, there's other companies that I partnered with that I can, I recommend my clients to use. But you don't need to test all these things at the beginning. Okay, let's just focus on your nutrition. If it's in your budget, I suggest that you get this test, this other thing. But I just meet my client where they are. Like
Yeah.
we learn in school.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's true. It's true. It's so helpful. So talk to me a little about nutrients because like that's where this is going. My next thought is nutrients. There's probably, I would guess, because I don't know, but you could tell me. What are the major nutrients that people are tend to be lacking? I mean, you hear about iodine with the thyroid. Maybe that's somewhat
Yeah.
controversial. But what are the nutrients that people really need with Hashimoto's?
Mostly selenium, zinc, some iron. They're low on that. Um, and those are the most important ones for Hashimoto. So you gotta make sure that you either are getting it through your diet or through supplements that you take. Vitamin D is key too. And yeah, unless you get it from the sun. But sometimes in the winter time, we need to supplement with good quality vitamin D. And those are the major ones that I focus on for
Yeah.
myself and my clients.
Gotcha, gotcha. So it doesn't have to be this whole crazy list. It can just be some few key nutrients that you're help supplementing your diet to have and get a more well-rounded nutritional profile, I suppose.
Yes. Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
in what you eat. You gotta eat the rainbow.
Yeah, yeah. And some of those are minerals too, like zinc, mineral, right? And sometimes the
Yes.
minerals are depleted from our soil, so even if we think we're getting enough, we're not.
Yeah, and that's when you can come in and add some zinc supplements. I take them too
Yeah.
because I know sometimes I don't get it through all the diet because sometimes you're just not eating something that might have enough zinc for the day.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, part of this, I think the problem is too, like, I love that word ancestral, to just try to live like our
yes.
ancestors did, because right now we have tomatoes, let's say, or potatoes year round when maybe in the past they didn't have that. So that
Hmm.
seasonal eating is something too, I think that's our bodies are made to have seasonal eating, but we are no longer doing that.
Yes. Yeah, because of it's big the farms and all of that. Now they can do all of these things anywhere, and it's not the same because the soil doesn't have the same nutrients as it had before in
Right.
the past.
Yeah.
So all these pesticides they have to spray and all of this, and where if you look at it, if you don't wash your veggies good, you might be eating all of that.
Yeah, yeah, that's important. So, one thing I was going to ask you was there a pivotal moment in your healing journey where everything shifted and everything sort of clicked and whether that was like some person that you found out there that ended up being a great guide for you or some technique or, at least like a moment to change. Because I know for me, when look back at maybe decisions I've made, it's like, what led me to that decision? Or that was the moment when things really turned around for you. So did you have a moment like that?
Yeah. So when I got diagnosed, I said, as I already was a health coach, I said, like, I know these doctors are not going to help me. So I need to find somebody else. And that's when I hired my functional practitioner that helped me a lot and introduced me to the autoimmune protocol. And that's when I went down the rabbit hole, got certified and all of that. And it was like, oh my God, I cannot thank him enough
Yeah.
because now I know all these good things that are been helping me, and I'm like, I know I need to get find help somewhere else because if I rely on my regular doctor, that's not going to happen.
Right. Right. Yeah. So that autoimmune protocol made all the difference because it was specifically for this.
Yes,
Yeah.
for it's specifically for any autoimmune disease, Hashimoto's, Graves, any other lupus, any other autoimmune IBS. And then once you get diagnosed with Hashimoto's, you gotta look out because once you have one autoimmune disease, you might get more.
Really? Oh, I didn't really
Yes.
quite realize that.
Yeah, and doctors don't tell you. When I got diagnosed, they didn't tell me that Hashimoto was an autoimmune. I already knew because I was a health coach, but they didn't tell me that Hashimoto is an autoimmune disease.
So, what are some of the other partnering diseases that you get
Well,
diagnosed with sometimes?
some people got, I had clients that had Hashimoto's PCOS. Um, I have I have Hashimoto's, and then I got diagnosed with IBS.
Really?
Yeah. And then, yeah, and then I had Raynaud's too. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right,
Yeah.
but it's like so many
Raynaud's,
people
yeah.
say it differently. But
Yeah.
Raynaud's, like the cold weather is horrible for you because your fingernails and your fingers turn purple and blue, and then like it's not circulation, and anxiety makes it even worse. And then that's why I hate the cold weather down here in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
But yeah, plan
Wow.
is retire to Florida one day because I cannot take this cold weather over here.
Well, come on down.
Yes.
We love to have you.
Yeah, I would love to be there. Uh,
Um, well, another thing too, I mean, there's just so many things to discuss here, but I think it's important to, of course, we talked about the diet and how important that is. 80% of it's diet. So there's something to really pay attention to. However, or at the same time, maybe the better word is and there's another component I think that doesn't get as much play, and that is sort of the mindset or spiritual side, things like that. Are there any like inner work modalities or things that you've done in that regard?
yes, a lot of affirmations, listening to affirmations. If you like to pray, you pray. If not, you can do meditation. Um, that helped me a lot because and especially with the anxiety and all of these things that you get, and all the stress. If you start doing all of these stuff, will calm your nervous system, and it will help you with the healing process. Because and now I'm starting to do tapping. So I joined a tapping membership, and now I'm doing tapping, and that's amazing. I love that. I love it.
Yeah. I love that too. The EFT tapping.
Yes, yes, it's
So
amazing.
powerful. Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, I think that's something that's really important for all of us to remember because we can get so caught up in the doing, and like the food is the doing. It's like, okay, what am I going to eat? What am I going to prepare? What am I going to shop for? And do all these things. But you could be doing all those right things and still miss out on some of the healing because of this other less, active kind of practices, right?
yes, because those are like the things that we don't think of that this might not help me. Like I don't think doing EFT tapping will help me. Well, it does. It does help me a lot because it releases all the tension, and I don't know. Sometimes I even like I'm yawning and she's like, "Oh yeah, that's your immune system." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Yeah, that's it. You're releasing stuff, and I'm like, "Oh my God." Sometimes I cry, because
Hmm.
you're releasing all those emotions and those stress that you have in there. So it does help. The affirmations too, because I'm like, okay, I'm healing, I'm doing this for me or whatever, because that helps a lot too. Because most of the time we don't believe that we can get there and that we'll see the sun at the other side, like the rainbow, or the sun, whatever, at the other side of the
Yeah.
rainbow. But we can. It's just not a matter of just one thing. We have to do a lot of little things in combination.
Hmm.
Um, yeah.
Um, do you have any non-negotiables for your self-care routine? Like I know for me, I think, well, there's probably more than one, but the first thing I think of is sleep. Like if I don't manage my sleep well, I'm I'm useless the next day. Like I have to prioritize my sleep. So is there anything that's like a real top non-negotiable?
Um, Non-negotiable for me, I think these days is my skincare. Even if it's just it relaxes me in the morning, I do that in the morning and at night, and I just look forward to that because it's like, oh, I'm relaxing my skin, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm washing my face, doing this. So that's it's not as like big thing that people might think, but it's what I'm like looking for every day, and I don't miss that. And if I
Right.
miss it one day, I feel like okay. You feel
Yeah.
it the other day, like okay, I didn't do good, but it's okay because I
Yeah.
wasn't as energetic as I was before.
Right.
Because not every day you wake up with the same energy.
For sure. Oh, that's so true. I also wanted to make sure I asked you about your program or what's it like to work with you at AIP Conmigo? Like, what should someone expect if they're like, okay, I need some help with this Hashimoto's diagnosis I just got. I'm going to reach out to her. What do they expect?
Yeah, so they can go to my website, Conmigo, and they can check my services there. I work with people one on one, and I have a few different packages. So it's like a 6 week, and then there's a 3 month, um, all depending on their budget and what they need. Um, but it's they go get on a call with me. We do a call. They can see if they're I'm the right coach for them and if they are the right client for me. And from there I tell them, okay, which one of these packages you might be interested in, and I work with their budget. um and it's a 3 months. My signature program is 3 months, so they can go through that. We're gonna be working through doing the autoimmune protocol. And I meet them where they are. If they're not completely that they're gonna do the whole core elimination phase of the AIP, then we can start doing things slowly. Because I'm a firm believer, slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah. Do you
Um,
guys meet weekly or how often do you meet?
I meet with them every other week.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah,
Okay.
because sometimes like people with their schedules, they have a life. They're not gonna be meeting with me every week.
That's true. That would be that would probably be a lot. So,
It's rewarding for me to help all these ladies, mostly, with the Hispanic community, because being bilingual is a plus.
yeah, I was gonna say, like, one of your specialties is that you're bilingual.
Yeah, yeah. So these ladies, and they know, and I find, the things that I'm like, okay, um, make sure that AIP fits with their culture. If they are like, Hispanic, and I'm like, I know I grew up eating rice and beans. At the beginning, you couldn't eat rice and beans in the AIP, but now you can. So and I'm like, wow, I finally.
That's a big deal, especially culturally. Oh, that's
Yes.
important. Yeah.
Yeah, most
Wow.
cultures they eat rice and beans.
So yeah, that's one of the things that stood out to me. I mean, you speak Spanish. I only speak Spanglish.
Oh, that's good.
A little
I
bit.
have one. My daughter doesn't speak Spanish. She's learning.
That's great. I mean, I love Spanish. I took it in high school and college. Um, but so that's great. So you work with your clients one on one over a couple different periods of time. I think that, like you said, the 6 weeks or the 3 months, that's really going to cover it for a lot of different people and their circumstances. Because I know some people want a shorter kind of turnaround. Other people are more in it for a longer commitment because they have more to work on.
Yes.
What should people know, you think, or maybe a better question is, can you give us like the top three steps? Like maybe someone's just starting to identify with these symptoms. They're at the place where they just haven't gone to any testing. They're not that familiar with Hashimoto's, but right away they can start doing a couple things. What would those top three things be?
Start eating an anti-inflammatory diet. Eat more natural stuff. Something that doesn't come from a box. Um, Drink enough water and move their body a little bit. Get some
Yeah.
movement. So
Hydration, super important in the movement. Got to get that lymph moving too.
yes, yeah. If it's just going for a walk or just going up down the stairs at your house because it's raining outside or it's too cold, because I hate the cold. Go up down up and down the stairs, and that's it, and you'll be good workout there. That's the stairmaster at the gym, right?
That's right. No need for a machine. Just use the stairs you
Yes.
got. Yeah, I like that. Is there anything else that you really wanted to mention today that we missed, or something that's new and up and coming that people should know about?
No, I'm good. I have free resources on my website, so they can go and check that at aipconmigo.com, and they can go ahead and download those. They're in English and Spanish, some in Spanish available, so they can go and get those free resources there, so they can get started on their healing journey with Hashimoto's.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Wow. Well, I would really just like to thank you for your time today, Onelly, and helping us, put these pieces together. There's so many things to know about Hashimoto's, but I think we are off to a really great start. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And for everyone else out there listening, just remember, we want you to stay healthy so you can stay happy, and we'll see you on the next one. Psst. Can you do me a favor? Text the link to this episode to a friend who you know needs to hear this. By doing so, you are helping me with my mission to open minds to all the holistic health solutions that are available to us all. We hope you'll support our small business and shop ngvitamins.com for all your supplement needs. Oh, and don't forget to follow, hit the bell on your platform of choice so you never miss an episode. If you enjoyed this show, please consider sharing your review on iTunes. Until next time.